I've been thinking of some of the problems that the Congress is going to be facing. It's facing it now, but we don't really have anybody in there who's dealing with them. The first, and I just made a list, and I will in other when I talk to you again from time to time, I will discuss these in detail. But I just made a quick list of some of the problems we're facing. Rare earth oxides. How come China has a supply and we don't? What's it take to solve that problem? What are rare earth oxides? Where do you find rare earth oxides? Artificial intelligence. How does it work? What's the math behind it? How do you program it? Why does it take so much power? Where do we put all of the hardware that we're using to educate our AI so they can perform tasks? What are the dangers of AI? My opinion, and as you know, my background is in physics and calculus and computers, and I know quite a bit about these. I have degrees in physics and calculus. I worked for Intel, which, as you know, is the godfather of computer chip making and structures and all of that technology. And I worked for the Air Force, in the same fields. Before and I'm also a trial lawyer, but you can look at my resume wherever you want. But artificial intelligence, the threat of artificial intelligence, one of which is it could accidentally set off a nuclear war. Military weapons systems, what are they? How do they work? What's the technology involved? How much do they cost? What are we paying for? Are we getting our money's worth? Are we wasting money? My father was chief of contract law for the Military Airlift Command. He was at one time probably the most experienced person in military contracts in the country, and he taught me a lot about military contracts, and I learned about military contracts firsthand when I was a patent lawyer for the Air Force. Big deal. We don't have people in the Congress, in my opinion, who have the slightest idea how our military weapons systems hardware works, what the technology is, how drones work, how artificial intelligence works, how all of the things that go into almost everything we do for the military is heavily composed of technology, and we have people up there signing off on these things, writing checks all the time from Congress, and they don't have any idea what they're writing checks about. Interest on the national debt, which at one point is going to be so high that it's going to take all of our taxpayer money is going to go pay interest on the national debt, at which point in time we won't have a country anymore. That's coming at us, folks. Healthcare costs are out of control. Why is that, and how do we bring that under control? Going back to artificial intelligence, what's that going to do to employment? And it's going to end eventually, and in the not too distant future, manual labor. Insurance costs are crazy. I have a couple of houses near the ocean. I don't even have insurance on them because it costs me more to insurance than it costs me to replace the roofs twice a year. The island of plastic, how many of you know about that island of plastic in the Pacific? It's enormous. It's the size, I think, of Rhode Island. And it's dissolving. These beads of plastic are dissolving. Fish are eating them, and we are losing whole species of fish right now, and you don't even know about it. The asylum laws. What you don't know is that Donald Trump has stopped things at the border by refusing to grant people asylum, instead of changing the asylum laws to instead of requiring people to seek asylum in this country, make them seek asylum in their own country or a nearby country in an American embassy. That would stop the phony asylum claims, but would keep the legitimate asylum claims going. Nobody in our Congress, as far as I know, has addressed that issue at all. Probably haven't even read the asylum statutes. So those are just a few of the issues that we're facing, and I will be talking about them in detail, but you should know what Congress is up against, and we need people in Congress who have the appropriate backgrounds in technology, in law, in science, and in how to solve problems. And we need candidates who know how to talk about these things in the manners in which people, including Republicans, can understand. So I'll be back at you later. That's just a preview. So long for now.